Hey, it's Andy. James over there behind the camera from Two Dudes Reviews with, of course, our two hot chicks. And we are two at once right now. We are streaming live on YouTube. Is that correct, Jay? So YouTube live broadcast, and then of course we have our podcast as well that we're doing today. And we are at MV Vineyards. Did I get that right, Christine?
MV Vineyards and Winery.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we hear from our hosts where we're staying out here in Fairplay that this is the best winery. So we thought we'd start here first before our palates get all burnt and we get all hammered.
What's that?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and try some wine and get tips from the expert here.
Kristen.
Yeah.
Christy, what can you tell us about the wines and the winery? What makes you guys unique?
What makes us unique is we are actually a small family-owned and operated boutique winery. We have less than 2,000 cases a year. We have some unique varietals that you will not find anywhere in this region in California, including our Le Grand. That is our estate prize wine that I like to call it, and it is definitely worth your trip up here.
Wow. Okay. So Le Grand, what is that? Is that the variety of grape?
Yeah, it's actually a really unique varietal. It's from northeast Italy, kind of by the Austrian border up there.
Okay.
It is something that you will find the locals up there will make rosés out of. We actually have a longer growing season here, so we can actually fully ripen the fruit and turn it into the beautiful black beast that it is.
Wow. Can't wait to try it. What are we starting with today?
You are starting with our brand new Sauvignon Blanc. This is a brand new release. It is something that we're very proud of. It's made in a New Zealand style. Very crisp, very clean, very summer ready.
And it's good because it's 11 o'clock in the morning here and it's already 94 degrees
Yeah.
outside. I think
It's gonna be a hot one.
The car said.
I thought it was interesting. We were over at Turley yesterday, and they said this is our slowest time of year. And I said, "What? Slowest time? Yeah, it's so hot, you know." And meanwhile, the brewery down in Plymouth, jam packed. I mean, there was a line of cars to get into the brewery down there.
Of course.
I'd rather be drinking
Because it's
wine.
beer.
Yeah, we'll make our own.
Beer. We make beer, but I drink so little of it anymore. We're wine fans.
We've shifted to cider.
Right.
Yeah, we make cider.
Yeah. I love ciders. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. I have a tip on a great brewery to go to in El Dorado County, and actually they have a combination of beer and wine
Really?
available, including wine-infused beer.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
It
interesting.
is actually called Solid Grounds. It's downtown Diamond Springs, and it is well worth your time if you
Really?
get down there.
Okay.
Nice.
Check out Solid Ground.
Solid Ground.
Solid Ground. Go check that out. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not usually with a lot of whites. The acid level is so high. You know, especially with some shards that are stainless steel aged, I get acid reflux pretty easily. But this is going down smooth. It does have a bit of the tart green apple flavor, but there's quite a bit of cantaloupe in there, a little bit of honeydew, and delicious. Yeah.
It's very crisp, very clean.
Nice. Very
Finishes
good for
very
day
nicely.
drinking.
Yeah.
It's a day drinker. Oh wait, are they all?
Sometimes.
That's a good way to start it.
So next I'm going to pour one of our favorites. This is a Vermentino. Vermentino is not a grape you will find too often up here. Some people have it in Amador. This was kind of our experimental wine in 2016. We actually could not make the Chardonnay. Our contract for Chardonnay grapes fell through, so we kind of experimented with this varietal. Fell in love with it so much that we just grafted it into the vineyard. So we
Oh,
have
nice.
an acre of baby Vermentinos going up.
Oh, nice.
Right now.
Now, Vermentino, what's the story on this variety? Where's it from?
It's an Italian one. I'm not too clear on the history of this varietal, but I could tell you it is a beautiful floral, fragrant wine. I love this. Perfect acids on it. It's not anything that's just overpowering, but I love this one.
It's got a nice balance. What's the aging process on this?
This is stainless steel for 9 months.
Okay.
Wow, this is a.
Really crisp.
You talk
Really
about
crisp.
floral nose.
Mm.
I don't. I smell popcorn because it's in the corner of it. It's kind of
very popcorn.
No,
nose to
honestly,
it.
it's. I mean, that popcorn smell is coming in, but no, when you said floral, that really, it's such a different nose than the Sauv Blanc. Definitely.
Yeah, it's totally different. With the Sauv Blanc, I get a lot more crispness. With this one, I get a little more richness for a non-oaked wine. It's got a nice richness to it.
Yeah, you know what? A surprising amount of butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
I was thinking maybe
Popcorn-
there's some oak in there,
No,
but there is some
popcorn
butter.
aside, I got butter on the nose, and I definitely get butter. So a smooth, buttery.
Yes.
If you're a fan of those butter wines,
Yeah.
whatever, this
Those
actually.
oaky butter.
No, a lot of those are super over the top, but this is lovely.
So Allison, what are you picking up on the nose?
Just a slight hint of rose.
It's like it's rose. Okay,
Very
interesting.
floral.
Yeah.
Very-
Jill, what about you?
I've got a lot of apple in this one.
Green apple.
Yes, a lot
Okay.
of green apple.
Yep.
Very tart, very clean.
Yeah.
So these guys are huge rosé fans. I see rosé next on the list here. I don't know what you're projecting to pour, but just so you know, they might buy you out a rosé today.
That's perfectly fine by me. You are going to love this. Rosé is all the rage in the industry right now.
It's huge.
It is huge. You cannot go to a winery anymore without seeing at least one
Give us
rosé.
some of the rosé.
And this is made from our Syrah grapes, which is actually one of our biggest reds. So we pick it early, crush it and press it, and you just get that beautiful coppery hint of color.
It's
I was
very
gonna-
copper. I was
Yeah.
noticing that. It's not pink like most
It's not
rosés.
like rosé.
So, what should someone look for in a rosé?
Well,
Good
first of all,
question.
that is a good question. First of all, I want to know what the varietal used
For the
in
blend?
it, for the actual rosé. Some are blends, some are single varietal.
Really? So is there a rosé grape?
No.
No. It's a red grape. So you pick your red grapes and you pick them a little bit earlier. You crush them, press them early,
Right.
so they don't sit on the skin and get dark.
Okay.
So that
So the
is-
meat is white, but the
Correct.
Yeah.
Flesh is white. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all, and that's just natural. There's a little bit of skin and there's a little bit of red. As long as they sit
There's
there,
a
and that's how
small
it's made.
tinge of pink, but it's very, very subtle.
yeah.
Yes.
So by harvesting early, I mean obviously everyone talks about wanting to harvest at the ideal time, the perfect time,
Yep.
right? To make sure it's full, and we've walked a vineyard or two in our time, and
Yep.
and
Not
tasted
too
some grapes.
vegetal as Hein would say over at
Not too
CTVR.
vegetal or whatever, but ultimately, so you know do the characters that you're not looking for come out in that wine because you picked it, or how do you combat that? The fact that it's not ripe yet.
It's, well, you get different characteristics depending on when you pick it. For us, I like it earlier because you get a little more, especially in our case here with the Syrah, you get a little more strawberry notes to it.
Mhm.
If you let it ripen for another 3 weeks or so, you're going to get a little more different flavors. You're going
Right.
to get the full flavor profile. And we have a Syrah that I will actually give you guys a little bit later so you can try that and tell the difference. This is just, you want to get that hint of flavor, you want that hint of color, you want some freshness to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why rosé is changing the world.
It's trendy. You think it'll last?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It's survived in Italy and France for all these years, and it's huge over there. In fact, I hear my daughter told me it was when she went to Lyon, France. It was cheaper to drink the rosé than it was water.
Wow. No doubt. I believe that. You
Wow.
want a bottle of water for $1.99 or a bottle of rosé for 99 cents?
Exactly.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So-
this tastes like a really young strawberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before it
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
super sweet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
it's
has
nice.
that
I like
tartness to it. What you can continue pouring, but I'm curious, what is the what's the difference between a rosé and like a white zin? Because white zin, back when I was growing up, I had a buddy of mine
My
who was
mother used to
highfalutin,
always drink that.
and he used to pour the white zin over ice cubes
Yeah.
Yes.
in his in his Tupperware glass or whatever. But
We all have to start somewhere, right? White Zin is actually the same thing. It's a rosé, but
Okay,
most
yeah.
of the time made with the Zinfandel grape, by the way.
Right.
But most of the time, what you're doing with White Zin is you're adding sweetness to
Okay.
it. So when you add sweetness to it, it kind
That's
of
like giving me a
loses the
headache.
flavors. Exactly.
Yeah, headache wine.
I've been there.
Haven't we all?
Nowadays, winemakers actually take White Zin to a party as a white elephant gift.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Son of a
wow.
bitch, I got the white Zin again.
The white
Damn
Zin.
it.
My mom used to drink, what was it, Franzia? In the
Yeah.
box.
In the
Oh,
box.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god, she would have her
Big wine.
Tupperware cup. She's like, go put some more in my Tupperware cup. I'm like, ugh. And
That's what you make sangria out of white Zin.
Yeah.
And you don't have to add sugar.
No, not
I
at
like
all.
that idea.
Yeah.
As a white elephant gift.
Yeah.
In college, yeah.
White
It would go in the
Zin.
trash can as you walk in the door.
So, but anyway, Syrah rosé, any good rosé is worth its weight in gold, as far as I'm concerned, especially in this heat right now.
That's
Sure,
cool. Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
very refreshing.
Yeah,
very
very
refreshing.
refreshing. All right, so tell me where you guys want to go next. Do you want to try Chardonnay? I have a reserve Chardonnay.
Yes,
Let's do that.
please.
All
I was
right.
like, yes, please.
I like shards. Is this stainless steel or is this oak age?
This is oat.
Oh,
This
nice.
is 40% new French oak barrels we
Nice.
used in this.
Yeah, you can almost smell it's either the snuff or I'm smelling a little bit of cheese on that.
No, it's a snuff.
Honey.
Cheese and almost a little aniseed. Do you
Interesting.
get any aniseed off that at all? Or is my
Anise.
anise, whatever, it's aniseed.
Anise.
She's always correcting me.
Then stop speaking wrong.
Fine, I just won't say anything.
Boy, don't say anything. Wait, that's hard. We do a podcast.
Okay.
I have a hard time picking out individual notes, right?
Yeah.
I smell it and I
Yeah.
just like, it's fruity, it's floral, I keep it pretty simple.
And almost
And that's a
interesting
big
white pepper. I mean,
kind of
all the
fruity.
everything I'm pulling, I would expect to pull from a red, and not this. So my palate might be completely out of whack. I don't know.
It is. You got all that tobacco stuff in your nose. It messes your
Perhaps.
palate up. Come on, how much of our taste is through our nose?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, about 90%.
There you go. So
A lot,
you're smelling and tasting all the tobacco flavors that you're putting in your nose.
perhaps.
Yeah.
Try that.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm like, cleanse your palate.
I prefer to say that, Jay, than to say your palate is crap.
Well, hey, it's all about honesty here. So
It is.
I'm just letting you know what I'm tasting.
Give me a second and I'll tell you.
Yeah, she's got the palate amongst the bunch here.
And one thing you guys got to do through the whole thing is take a glance at the tasting notes, because we have probably some of the most creative, if not the most creative tasting notes in Fairplay. Love to keep everybody on their toes.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Really?
Got two pressed Granny Smith apple juice.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
That's a reserve Chardonnay.
Yeah, Meyer lemon, butterscotch.
Okay, I get Golden Delicious apple.
totally get that. So golden delicious apple, you said?
Yeah,
Of course.
I get, well, the color for sure.
butterscotch. Okay, so that's that.
Oh my god, so butterscotch is what I got right off the bat.
That's what
was
I
like,
couldn't place.
I'm getting like
Yeah.
butterscotch, like
Butter.
a little butterscotch candy. That's
Yeah.
what I was picturing in my head. I was like, oh my god, I'm tasting that.
Why didn't you speak up earlier?
Because I was waiting to cleanse my palate.
I'm gonna
She's
keep
a
my
professional.
notes over here and just glance at them
Glance.
and act like I'm.
Like you know what's
That's
going
actually
on.
what I'm tasting. No, but now that it's funny because now that you bring it out, it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Butterscotch.
That's nice.
Okay.
If we can, Viognier is one of those that is famous in this region for sure, and I love Viognier, so I would love to try that.
You're talking about my favorite white right now.
Okay.
This is what I have been taking home and actually drinking, so that tells you something. This is a experiment. We've never done a V&A before.
Okay.
Again, in 2016, we couldn't get our Chardonnay grapes that we loved. So we ended up experimenting with the Vermentino and with this
Gorgeous.
V&A. And we put this in 100% brand new French oak barrels.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
So this is beautiful. You get a lot of that concentrated apricot in there. I get like kind of a beautiful apricot tone to it. It's
Oh
so
wow.
gorgeous.
What a nose.
And the ABV on this
Oh,
is
beautiful.
Yeah,
about
so
what?
pretty.
I'm sorry.
13?
The
The
alcohol on this one is 14.
14, I was gonna say, yeah.
I smell,
Gorgeous color.
you can just smell
Citrus.
toasted yum. Oh.
Oh
Citrus.
yeah, yeah.
I get total citrus on this.
Oh, this is heaven for me. I love this stuff so much.
Now-
Stacks, I can read it.
Just for some educational purposes,
Uh-huh.
because we like to educate people on the YouTubes and the podcast. You said Viognier.
Mm-hmm.
We pronounced it Viognier in the past. What is proper?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to tell you the truth, because I've always pronounced it. My father always calls it Viognier.
Well, if the winemaker says it's Viognier, I'm gonna say it's Viognier.
But I learned Viognier from another winemaker.
I
Well,
think it's kind of
battle
a
of the
tomato
winemakers.
kind
Tomato,
of
tomato.
thing.
It depends on what region you're at.
By the way,
Zinfandel.
if you're looking to find some Viognier, it's spelled Viognier. So
It's spelled Viognier, right?
Viognier.
I mean, I've been saying it that way, so I'm going to say it that way. But ultimately, this is something that I only really found here in El Dorado, Amador, Grass Valley, Nevada County, Nevada City, that area there. So it's a Eastern Sierra thing as far as I know, and it's got to be a French variety, of course. With a name like Viognier.
You know, to tell you the truth, I am not, because it's so new to us, I'm really not as up on the origin of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but I love the flavors of it.
I
don't care
like this
where it
better
comes
than a
from.
Chardonnay any day.
really,
Oh,
okay.
it's rich.
Oh,
It's
oh,
got that.
no.
Yay.
I've got it marked down on the list
My
here.
goodness.
By far the best one we've had.
Yeah, that's
I gotta
delicious. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yum.
So next, are you guys ready for some reds?
Let's go.
Our whites
Let's
are
get red.
I'm enjoying this.
I think we've had 13 glasses of wine already. Maybe
No,
just
yeah.
5.
Almost as much as yesterday.
You know.
Our whites are fantastic, but we are actually known for our reds.
Really? Okay.
Hi.
So this is our Zinfandel. This is 100% estate Zinfandel.
Notice how she pronounced that, Jay?
Shut up,
Zinfandel. Zinfandel. That's
Children, stop fighting.
He always gives me a hard time because I like to say Zinfandel, but let's go ahead and try some of the Zinfandel.
You got
You
white
got
in
a
there,
little
baby.
Oh, dang it. Hang on.
Unless you want a unique blend.
I mean, if you were David Coverdale, then you could say Zinfandel, but you're not.
Aw.
That's why I probably say Zinfandel, because David Coverdale is a very close friend of mine.
Right, but he doesn't spell it
Are you
Coverdel, does he?
name-dropping right now?
Name dropper.
I didn't drop any names. I didn't say
This
I
is-
knew the guy.
This is good too, as far as the nose is concerned, and I haven't read any of the tasting notes, but I get some sweet pepper off of this. You definitely get a bit of that pepper nose, but it's very sweet.
Okay.
And some
So-
floral.
Because to me, Zinfandel is either peppery or jammy.
Right.
It's gonna cross that line at some point and be either or. What's your favorite? What do you like, peppery or jammy?
I like jammy.
And I've not had yours
Yeah.
yet, so I don't know.
This is kind of in between. I will tell you, we like the fruit to shine. So in all of our wines, we work really hard to actually get that fruit to really sing.
See, yeah, you're right. It is on the line because it's not.
Yeah.
I can't stand a Zinfandel that is just like drinking strawberry jam, right? I'm just not a fan.
Yep.
So this is a great balance and a great blend that gives you that pepper to it. I like it.
A little bit of pepper on the end, but I will say it's got some beautiful fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I would say chocolate covered cherries, anise, red vines, and vanilla bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
you're
Exactly.
right.
That's what I said right here.
And then
I
the
just
finish,
read
it's
that.
got the tannin structure is, I mean, you got a little bit.
Yes, it's
I
Just a
structure
tad.
at the end,
Totally smelled vanilla
A little
bean.
bit of, yeah.
Totally smell that.
Yes, a lot of the vanilla bean characteristic is something that you will find from the nice toast of the barrel.
Yeah.
Now this Zinfandel is unique because it is the only wine we use American oak on.
Instead of French
Everything
oak.
else, we love the flavor and the profile that French oak gives to it.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is lucky.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
call it the multi-tool of wines because it goes
Yeah.
with everything.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can go barbecue to fish.
Mm-hmm. Totally. All right, next, Barbera. This is not a varietal that we grow on the property. This is something we actually buy from our neighbors. Love Barberas. You're basically in the heart of Barbera territory.
I was gonna say, yeah, kind of Barbera country up here. Why is that? Is it just the climate, the terroir, or what?
I would say the soil composition has a lot to do with it, and
Okay.
also the climate. Now we're in Fairplay. We're on the outer fringes of that kind of Barbera territory, simply because of the elevation.
Okay.
So
A little lower, you get more Barbera.
And I think it's really interesting the way you water. Can you tell me about your watering patterns?
Well,
I know it's
everybody's
kind of dorky,
unique.
but I like that.
Yeah,
No, it's cool.
actually, it is really cool. We have a high water table up here, so we have not, well, actually, we just started watering our grapes about 2 weeks ago. So we wait for a very long time. We actually take weekly measurements of water table depths and whatnot, and concentration in the soil.
When you say water table, you mean the source of the water is much higher than typical, or you have to drill down quite a bit further because you're higher than where the typical
No, the water table is much higher.
Water's closer to the
we
water's
use
closer to the surface. Right, gotcha.
So the
Okay.
vines can reach down and grab that water on their own
Yeah,
until at a certain point when it gets too hot.
right.
So you
And
don't
that's
like
nice.
have you don't have a timer. You're actually measuring the amount of moisture
Yeah.
and then determining, okay, now it's time to add water because the roots are not getting what they
Stressing
need
the
from the
grapes.
earth.
Right.
I stick my
right.
finger in the pot, and if it's dry, I put water in it.
Exactly.
It's
It's
kind of
the
the same
same
thing.
concept. It is the same concept. We actually are very careful with our watering. Every plant has 2 drippers on it, so that basically everything gets put right directly into the plant. We love
Nice.
how just that works. We don't have to sit there and water too much. I mean, a lot of places in Napa, they start watering early.
Yeah.
Up here, we don't have to worry about that as much. The other thing that we love about this system is we can actually turn off the water, which we typically do about 2 weeks before harvest. You know, everything finishes at a different rate. So basically, we will turn off the water to the plants about 1 week to 2 weeks, depending on the temperatures outside. And basically, that'll stress the plant, which
Right.
will give you the
different
pop
types of
and the
water.
flavor.
I was gonna say, unlike harvesting a cow, where you want the cow to be nicely massaged
stop.
before you go and slaughter it, with wine growing, you want to stress out those grapes. You want to shock them before you go to the harvest and then the crush.
You get a much better product, trust me,
Yeah.
and you could tell the difference. So what do you guys think of the Barbera?
Yeah, my
I haven't tried
favorite so far,
That's
even though we're only a couple
Really?
of the reds in, but I love that Barbera. The balance on that is
The
incredible.
zen for me was still
I like the darkness. I like the
Maybe
dark. I like the
pepper.
cocoa and the peppery. And there's not a lot that's sweet in that Barbera. And I've had quite a few Barberas here in the valley, and I love that Barbera. Very nice.
Yeah, I love the acids on it. One of the characteristics of Barbera is it has a higher acid profile to
Silky.
it. But this one just turned out perfect as far as the acid levels, so we're pretty
It's
proud of it.
silky.
It is. It has.
Wow.
It's very silky.
Yeah.
Beautiful fruit to it.
Yeah, toffee drizzled blackberries is what I'm getting at.
toffee. Is that what it says?
Wait,
Toffee,
put my
drizzled
glasses
blackberries.
on.
Oh, hey,
Jake, you
look at that.
nailed it.
You
Jake,
said
you nailed it. You should hire him to write
I
his
think
reviews.
so.
What is this?
Next year on Cabernet Franc.
Cab from.
Oh, I love a cat front.
Cabernet Franc is a beautiful wine. In fact, I call this my go-to barbecue wine.
Go to barbecue.
What's the difference between a Cab Franc grape and just a straight up Cabernet grape? Or is
They're
Cab Franc?
related, but Franc has a lot of unique characteristics to it. One of the main characteristics you get out of this wine, if you smell it, you can actually pick it up.
Ooh,
It is
wow.
kind of that fresh cut green bell pepper characteristic.
Okay.
You will find that in a good Cab Franc. It's pretty much a normal thing that you find in Cab Franc altogether.
We were told at Turley yesterday that bell pepper is not something you want to have in a Zin, I guess.
In a Zin.
But
Right,
that
that
means
means
the
it's
grapes have been
picked
harvested too early.
Yeah.
But with a Cab Franc, you absolutely want a bit of that bell pepper.
And it changes from vineyard to vineyard. I was actually in Artesa down in Sonoma not too long ago and had a fantastic Cab Franc there. But instead of getting that sweeter bell pepper, it was more of a jalapeno.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
it
nice.
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
a normal characteristic of wine, of the varietal, but it just comes in different forms.
Right.
Yeah.
Now now Cab Franc a lot of times is used as a blender color, and you don't see single variety Cab Franc a whole lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably becoming a little more prevalent as I think
In
winemakers
this region,
in this region. I don't know, and maybe in general. We don't go to.
In
We
general.
prefer this region over Napa, quite
Yeah.
honestly, because we don't like to make appointments, and
And people are nicer.
we like good value, and we want to sit here with you
Right.
because you're the winemaker and or related to the winemaker, and we're not talking to some sales guy trying to sign us up for the club.
Yeah.
And so I prefer this area far over Napa. Not that there isn't great wine in Napa, but
Yes.
it's just a different experience, and that's why we come here. By the way, if you're watching, understanding that we're drinking California wine, but it's Eastern Sierra wine. It's El Dorado, Amador, Nevada County. These places here, are places where you can just walk in the door. There's not a line of people 16 deep here, and we do get to chat. And this is not a special appointment. They're open right now.
Yeah.
So I
11
love
o'clock
that.
on a Saturday. We just
11 o'clock
waltzed
on a
in.
Saturday, we're hanging out here with Christy. So that's kind of one of the other benefits of this region. And you guys make great wine.
great wine.
And we're again total fans. We've been coming down this area 12 years now. That just love it. So thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
And great wine, guys.
Fine. You've said all there is to be said. You can go now.
And I'm out.
And Mike, there's a mic drop. Boom.
If we had a mic, I'd drop it, but it's my phone.
How's your insurance?
I do have insurance on the phone. Isn't that the beauty of broadcasting today, right? We can be sitting here on our phone and doing this. It's and the quality of the optics, the quality of the microphones is so amazing that we don't have to have a lot of specialized equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're really cheap.
Probably the latter.
More money to
Frugal.
spend on wine.
Frugal.
That's
Yeah,
right.
frugal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Frugal and smart.
Frugal.
Here's the cab. It has that beautiful cab color.
You can tell just by
the
reporting
bubbles
that.
have a red outline on them, and
It wasn't the label that said Cabernet. It was the.
I'm a cab girl.
Of course.
Which isn't a cab girl.
Thank you.
Mouth
James a
cab.
cab girl.
Well, tell me what you guys think of this one.
I wore my cab bra today too. Thanks.
Nice.
TMI.
Are you showing it?
Not yet.
Let me see.
I've got pink straps so they blend in.
There's that anise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, big
It's big.
licorice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, this is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon that is from our estate.
Okay.
So, for those who say you cannot make a big Cabernet from the grapes up here, well, here you go.
Balloon.
They're wrong.
Yeah, let
You
me.
do it. Heim does it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. And again, not to slight Napa. There's some. There are some incredible Napa wines,
Yeah.
especially in the cab varietal. But this area right here, Fairplay, over this, and it hasn't been that long. It's really been over the span of the last decade, or maybe even 5 years, that the number of wineries, the explosion up here has been pretty awesome to see. And Amador has been on the map for a good part of the last 10 years, but up here in Fairplay, there's 30 wineries within a 5-6 mile radius here.
Yeah, and growing. It's
Yeah.
actually, I think, 26 or 28 right now.
Okay.
But
Wow.
it's expanding. This whole region is blowing up.
Yeah, and it's good. Good for you. Business for you guys.
Absolutely.
What percentage? So you've talked about wines that are estate grown versus wines you've acquired or grapes you've acquired from other farms. What percentage of your wines are estate versus sourced?
I would say we're around 65 95% estate grown.
Nice.
We have things that are still kind of coming into production. We did grafted in some Malbecs, so this is probably going to be the first year that we're going to get a really stellar Malbec release, which is, or harvest, which I'm really looking forward to. But we try and keep it, if it's not on our property, we buy it from the locals.
Good.
So it's all local source. You're not sourcing from any other region.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's those wine grape growers
Yeah.
that don't make wine, that
Yeah.
solely grow for you.
Yes, yes.
Now, how much input, if you're buying that grape from someone else, how much input do you guys as winemakers have to what they do to their vineyard?
Basically, it depends on the contract you have with that particular grower and the relationship you've developed with them. But for us, we like to keep the tonnage low, so per acre. And by dropping fruit and keeping your tonnage low, that gives you more intensity of flavors into the little that you're actually growing. It's kind of like roses, you know, you want to clip off the little buds around the big bloom to give it a bigger,
Rose queen right here.
Yeah.
This girl, we have roses all over the house, and we always have fresh roses all summer long
Nice,
in the house.
nice.
So this is intriguing. We've been tasting wine for a lot of years, and I've never heard anything called a Lagran. What is that? Lagran?
Actually, there are 3 ways to pronounce it according to Google.
Okay.
Lagran, the all-knowing authority, right, on wine. Lagran, Lagrein, Lagrein. I call
Okay.
it Lagran.
Lagran.
That
Sounds
is
nice.
just what I do, but you'll hear it under the other pronunciations too.
Wikipedia is not always right.
right.
What was it, Tuesday? We're interviewing
Celebrity
Trent
Day.
Dilfer. We were at the Celebrity Golf Tournament in Lake Tahoe, and we're interviewing Trent Dilfer. And Jave and I are not big sports guys, right? We're there with a sportscaster. We're broadcasting, believe it or
They're
not,
Googling everything.
on ESPN. So the guy sits down, and James on his phone going, "Okay, Trent, who the heck is Trent Dilfer?" And James like,
True story.
"Okay, 13 years in the NFL," and he goes, "Oh, Wikipedia's wrong, 14.
They're not counting 2018.
I don't know, but no, Trent's not playing anymore.
Threw
He's
you
been playing
under
for a
the
while,
bus.
but it was really funny that he totally, and he knew, right? Of course, Jake's on his phone.
That's
but,
funny.
So I said, if you were really good, you'd be in for 18 years. Interview over.
yeah.
I want to talk to you again, Blair.
Talk to
We're
Peyton Manning.
invited back for
Yeah,
another
yeah,
follow-up
yeah.
interview.
We're always invited back. We're the life of that party, pretty much.
Dude, I totally called him out too. Jill and I go to that tournament. We've been to that tournament a number of times over the past 10 years, and we hang out on the 17th tee on the beach because that's where you can heckle the celebrities as they're teeing off. But you can also get photographs with them and hang out. Not that we really care. We're not big sports fans. We don't get autographs, but it's kind of fun to go out there and party. But
You guys also like share pictures of your double wide too, right?
of our double wide, yeah, without a doubt. So somebody's coming in. They're
It
gonna.
might be the winemaker.
They're gonna crash the
Which
party,
we'll
right?
see.
So we but I called Trent out because he was trying to throw a football to a boat, and I was on the beach, and he missed
Yep.
the boat, and I caught the ball.
Aha.
Pretty funny.
Well, next what we're going to, you guys are trying right now is our 2013 Lagran. This is 100% estate. We actually are one of 3 vineyards in the state that we are aware of who actually grow this varietal.
Okay.
So origin is Northeast Italy, like I mentioned earlier, and it is a black grape. Enjoy.
Black grape. I was gonna say, I love a nice garnet colored wine, and this is damn near black.
It is.
And it's
Gorgeous.
smooth.
Yeah.
Do you
Smooth.
do you share your grapes with anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Good.
So
Not a
the
chance.
one
We
thing,
talked about estate growing,
Yeah.
and so I thought I'd ask.
the one thing
No,
I'm
this one will
getting,
not be.
the one thing I'm getting on this that I haven't gotten from the others is a little bit of a grapefruit bitterness on the finish.
Huh.
I'm getting
Did you
a
read
little
that?
bit. No, I'm getting a little bit of a bitterness on the finish. Tell me if you find that as well. And we've got some other folks in here, so let's. Why don't we review one more wine? I don't know if we should go right to the port, or maybe we do one and then the port, because we gotta have port, right?
But we gotta take care of our customers, so please don't.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
There's-
We're not worried.
There's folks here, so.
Are you locals?
We're not local, we're gonna be putting out.
Are you good? You know, but okay, so let's go back to wine tasting in the Eastern Sierras again. Here's folks, just like, quite honestly, just like us, right? Jill and I have been coming to this area for 10 years, and tasting wine and discovering new wineries, and we continue to come back again and again and again and again and again, and I so, but part of the reason for that is definitely, number one, the experience. Stop it with that coffee sign, by the way. That is the coolest sign ever. Okay.
It must be for sale.
Everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. That needs to go right next to my roaster.
Give me a couple bags of,
I have
Coffee?
a $20
We'll trade-
bill.
We'll trade coffee for the sign. No, but I mean, you talk about coming out here, and here's some folks who just walked in. They're in no hurry, of course, but they've been here many times before. And that's kind of the other part of this is that, you know, how often you go into a winery in Napa where you feel like your friends are part of the family, right? We're going to go down and we're going to see Heim today because we got to pick up our wine club membership, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But we walk in and Edith goes, oh, it's the dudes. And you know, we love being able to meet, you know, you guys who are putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this juice. And that's just not the case most of the
That's another great selling point, Andy. If you're looking for an educational experience, I guarantee you that most of the winemakers in Napa aren't going to give you the educational experience
no.
that someone like Christina has done over the span of the past, 30 minutes here. Let you know what the hell you're drinking. So, and as any good wine pourer will do, if you go to a nice steakhouse, back in the day, the sommelier should have tasted the wine first to make sure it wasn't vinegar
Of course.
before they
Poison.
poured you the glass, right? So
You're not gonna die.
And they
she's
open
making
it
sure
out
we
the
got
table.
something good here.
So,
What are we moving
where
on
do you
to?
guys want to go next?
You poured it.
Do you want to
You
go
just poured
straight
it.
to the beast?
The beast.
No.
Let's
try the
yeah,
beast.
let's go to the beast.
That's my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's some other fans back here too saying, yeah, do the beast.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep in mind, this is not on the menu yet. This is a new 2014 delineated beast.
Okay.
It is a Bordeaux blend.
Nice.
It is Malbec. It is Cab Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Sweet.
So give it a good twirl because it is a young
So
wine.
35,
And you just
35,
opened
30.
33, 33, 33.
There you go, that one.
Some odd
My math is
Is
percentages.
there a
horrible.
song?
Something like that.
And 1% something that they just threw in there.
Love.
Love. Come on,
1% love. I like it. That's fantastic. All
No,
right.
it's actually beast. It needs to be a little more.
It's got a little beast in it.
what's the market price on this?
Market price is $65.
Okay.
But what's our two dudes reviews price?
$65.
Yeah, you get the industry discount of you.
Nothing.
That's delicious. We talk about balance. Whoever your blender is doing a great job.
He's the winemaker.
Fine.
That's your dad, right?
That's my dad.
What's his name?
John Miller.
John Miller.
I actually help out a little bit in that department. It's a very technical process. That means you have to drink a whole bunch of wine to come out with the original blend of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happens. But
Damn it, we should have just started with 1/3.
How many
1/3,
people are
1/3.
involved in that process? I know some wineries it's a bunch, but
about 3 to 4 of us, depending on who's available, but minimum 3 of us.
okay, cool.
We all have a say in it. We play around with percentages, and it makes for a fun day. It really
Sure, it's
does.
horrible.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. I can't imagine you guys liking that at all. I love the kind of, there's that, again, the tannic structure is big enough and it holds, but it's a pepper finish. It's a pepper thing for me, right? So
Yeah,
I
you're
can
getting
see
that
this.
Cab in there.
Yeah, I can see this wine amazing with a steak. I mean, with a steak, this is ideal.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Delicious.
And of course, you know, it inspired some wonderful tasting notes, at least for the previous years. You know, that was our most genius moment of tasting notes, by the way.
The
Well, you know, in
delineated beast.
Mm-hmm.
Deep impenetrable indigo with a hint of unicorn blood.
I like
That's exactly the
caramelized
flavor.
harvest plum. I want to know who caramelized the harvest plum so we know what that tasted like.
You just grill them.
Does that mean take them into a dark room with a spotlight and question the hell out of
A
them?
hint of
No.
unicorn.
No, please read the notation on the bottom. You know, I just want everybody in the audience
No
to know.
unicorns were harmed during the making of these notes. You guys did have a good time, huh? Did you write?
That's awesome.
Did you write these the day you blended? Because that's what I would be writing this stuff.
We are known for our creative notes. I'll tell you
Oh
that.
gosh, that note is a
And
fantastic one.
We need some comedy. That was good.
All right, so
I
let's
do like that. A meal without wine is called breakfast. I'm like, wait a
pretty
minute.
much.
Wait a minute, we had
Yeah,
Do we
mimosas.
have mimosas?
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't really apply in Fairplay, but you know, my dad loves the sign anyways.
Oh,
Oh, it's
fantastic.
awesome.
And let's see, in case you want to know where the
Lifeboats.
lifeboats are.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
We have a sailboat where we're staying. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't been in there, but I'm gonna check it out today.
Tonight will be the night.
We'll be
We're
hanging out
gonna
in the
hang out in the
sailboat tonight.
sailboat. Last night we were hanging out in the wine
In the
cellar.
wine cellar.
By the way,
That
if you're
place
looking
is so cool.
for a place to stay and you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
come out here to vacation, just hit us up. Do us a private message right here on YouTube, and we'll
Uh-huh.
tell you the place to stay because that place is
Without a doubt,
Eclectic.
it's one of the coolest places
So
we have
cool.
stayed.
Yeah.
And there are some really interesting places to stay in this region, right?
Uh-huh.
We stayed last year. Was it last year? The
Yeah.
year before?
last year.
Really kind of at a Tuscan villa on top of a hill overlooking
Heinz place.
years and near
No,
Heinz Place.
I mean we went by Heinz
Just down,
Vineyards
yeah,
and
we were there
Rombauer
to
Vineyards.
see Heim, but yeah, overlooking like all the vineyards in the
Entire
area.
valley.
But it was we felt like we were in Italy, in Tuscany. It was everything about this place was Tuscan Villa.
Yes.
It was fantastic. You know the place?
I actually have heard of it. I haven't
Okay.
been there yet.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So
3 cattle guards and a
I know, it's like,
dusty
how many-
road.
yeah. In fact, Heim asked us. He goes, "How did you get here? How did you get in?" Because when you drive to this little place, you're driving through Heim's vineyard and you're driving through the Rombauer vineyard, right? And
Yeah.
so Heim's very particular
was
about not
amazing.
making dust and
It is.
all that around his grapes, and we understand why and all that. But very, very cool.
Andy
place
was
to
doing
stay.
donuts.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing donuts.
And he's like, well, we had to haul ass down the
Yeah,
dusty
whatever.
roads
We didn't.
just to make it out here on
Stop
time.
it.
So one final review,
One final
so we
note.
can wrap this up.
Yeah.
What's the last one we're gonna try here? Should we try the port? Because I'm a big port fan. I'm just
We are big-
Okay, I'm gonna get the pork going.
Okay.
she could try something
I'll
different.
a fresh one for
Oh,
you guys.
fresh.
We have a
Oh.
brand new.
It's kind of like fresh pots, thank Dave Grohl, but instead it's fresh
Fresh
ports.
pots, yeah.
Fresh ports.
I gotta get some coffee over to Dave.
Yeah, you know.
Dave needs to have Warrior Roasters coffee. That was a shameless plug if you're listening and watching.
Dave.
Warrior Roasters coffee and Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. I don't
Or
know.
yeah.
We got all the social media stuff now. I don't know.
So tell us about the port here.
This is actually a ruby port. It
Okay.
is made from our petite Syrah grapes. So it is a beautiful, beautiful port.
Now the difference between a ruby, a tawny, and ruby, tawny,
Ruby and Tawny.
okay,
They're the twins.
right?
Oh, wait a minute.
Ruby and
Wrong
tawny.
audience.
They were up at Andy's hotel room back last week at the Hard Rock.
I was checking in. They said, you know, do you want the twins? And I said, well, set them up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this wine is fortified.
Fortified. Actually, we end fermentation. We add a 160 proof brandy to this.
Where's the brandy from?
We actually have it from a local source. I am wanting to do our own brandy. We
Yeah.
talked about it.
I was gonna say, where's that local source? Any place we can find
Speaking of,
but you have to have a special license for it.
I got a driver's license.
Sorry.
I got a fishing
guys.
license.
Love good brandy.
What do you? I mean, what do you sign up for a brandy license?
Hobby.
Oh, there you go.
I have a
Jill's
question.
speaking.
Okay,
I have a question.
hang on.
Yes.
So we picked champagne grapes last September, and then we rented a crusher and we mashed, and now we're fermenting and we've
We're
bottled.
bottled.
We're
since.
bottled. We just bottled them.
So
a few
now I
weeks
know
ago.
it has to sit for 18 months before we can even taste it.
Yeah.
But we can come here and we can buy those young grapes from you.
No.
Are they for
No.
sale?
You have to have one of those damn licenses.
We have to have one of those really good connections.
Or a brandy license. It'll get you everything out here, man.
Yeah, well, you gotta go through it the hard way. You actually have to, it's a specialty license because of the proof of the alcohol.
But we're just buying the fruit, so I don't understand.
No.
No,
Jill, they don't
but
sell
the
their
fruit,
fruit to
the
anybody. They need it
fruit,
for
the
their
fruit
wine.
makes that awesome alcohol.
You have to buy the fruit. The fruit actually you ship away to somebody who can distill it and basically make brandy out of it.
Right.
Wow.
So listen, if the sparkling wine is crap, we'll
Then
find
we'll
somebody
distill
with
it.
a still, and
Jill,
we'll
I
distill
know
it, and we'll make
my buddy
some
Josie
crap
has a
up.
still.
Hey, there you go.
And we'll make
Grappa.
grappa.
Put it off.
Grappa.
Grappa.
Shit is
Oh.
hot.
That's
So-
delicious.
Yeah, this is fantastic. You know what I like about it? It's not syrupy sweet. So you
Right.
got a little bit of
There's some tannin structure.
there's a little tartness to it. And again, a lot of the ports tend to be syrupy sweet. They're overdone. So I like the balance to this. It's not too heavy, and I don't want to go to sleep now.
Well, good. That's how we wanted it to be. We want the flavors to really pop. We don't want it to be so syrupy sweet that you basically get a headache off of it. Kind of like the white zin we all grew up on, right?
Oh, Lord.
Absolutely.
Go fill it in
All right.
Tupperware.
So what I would like to try is a half a glass of the Barbera with whatever's left of that port right there. I bet that would be a nice
He
balance
likes
to open up that
blending stuff.
Barbera.
He likes ruining good wine. With
No, shut up. I'm a blender.
He
You're
By
blender.
does
part,
this.
I mean, I'm not a blender, but
Want to?
No, that's fine, because I'm not a big port
She's not a
drinker,
port fan.
So.
she's not a port fan, so I'm like,
It's-
I
it's
bet
okay. I
if
had
you
it-
Why
take
Barbera,
that out,
Jake?
because the Barbera was kind of the driest, most even keel out of all
I
of
get
them.
what he's doing.
And when
I do too.
I had a bottle of really dry Alexander Cab that had no real body and no real
And you
structure
mix it
to
with
it,
the
and I
tonics.
put just a dash of a tawny port in there, and it went boom.
Boom. And it
You know,
was
the port didn't
amazing.
overpower anything, but it just brought out all of the, the sweet strawberries and blueberries and the berry notes, and
You can get that
Jake's
by
a
putting,
berry guy.
you can get that by putting strawberries and
very,
blueberries
tell
in
you,
your
very
wine.
special.
try that. That's delicious. You should make a Jave blend right there. That's a two dudes blend.
That's a two dudes. The two
That's a
dudes.
two dudes blend.
You just
Like,
have a
pass it down
cocktail
the road.
menu, the two dudes thing, right? I don't know.
There you go.
So check it out. You got to come out here to Fairplay in Northern California. Again, if you want any details on how to get out to this area, or you're looking for a rental, feel free to just private message us here on YouTube. Check out our podcast, podbean.com/2dudesreviews. You can find us on Twitter at 2dudesreviews. Of course, Facebook 2dudesreviews. Best place where everything is right there is on our website, 2dudesreviews.com. That's DOODS.
Wait, or warriorroasters.com.
Oh,
if you like
shut up.
coffee.
Him and his damn shameless self-promotion.
Shameless. Wait, isn't that what we
Good
just
job.
Pretty much.
did? All right, until next time. Cheers.
See ya.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
That was awesome.
You're very welcome. You know we have more wines, guys. You just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.